75, Tuesday evening, to the subject of being right. And something that I find to be obviously very pertinent during these times, not only with the political agendas, but more so the fact of the differences of opinions that people have. And what's really happening in our lives is that things are being pushed to the forefront and forcing us to actually look within ourselves to grow and expand and question many things and concepts in our lives that we've just taken for granted. And I did an interview last week, and I spoke about the fact that we're being pushed right through different like cogs in a wheel. And these cogs push us out and reshape us and make us become redefined, so to speak. And life right now is forcing us off each shelf of a polarized opinion and creating almost the fact that we're almost pushing towards some type of energy that forces of differences of opinions. And the main concept that's pertinent right now is being right. And what it's really doing is it's pushing us to better understand ourselves, to question the fear of being wrong, right? So when we're afraid of being wrong and we're holding on to things that we think are right, we're really holding on to old concepts that no longer serve us. And what it does is it keeps us stuck in a state of closed-mindedness. Feeling that our opinions matter most and what we believe is the most important. I believe in many opinions that people may agree or disagree, but when you have an inner knowing about something, you don't really have to prove yourself. You don't have to go out and actually try to convince other people of what you believe in. It's more or less the fact that you have gone down this rabbit hole of information, a rabbit hole of investigating, of looking into things that have expanded your level of consciousness, that makes you more aware, but yet more outcasted in some regards. So what's important for us to do is to open ourselves to new concepts, right? And that requires us to challenge old ideas and not to get stuck into a place of really blaming or being in denial. When we're in denial and when we blame others, we're really throwing the responsibility off of our shoulders and out of our energy field into somebody else's lap. And by doing that, we don't take ownership for our lives. We blame other people for the faults, the negative actions or things that take place in our lives. But once we start taking responsibility, then we start investigating into things that make us accountable and hold on to concepts that we didn't look at in the past. So the desperation of needing to be right is the fear of being wrong. And the more we hook into that idea to understand it, that it's a desperate need of being in a position of power, a feeling of not losing control over something. You think about many times in our lives where I remember as a school teacher, you're in front of students and a child asks you a question. And so a person may not know the answer. And so at first, when you start teaching, you may say to the student, or you may ignore the question because you don't want to appear that you don't know the answer. So instead, the mature thing, the responsible thing, just as we as adults grow up, would be, I don't have an answer for that, right? And many times people don't know how to respond to people when they don't have an answer for something. And so what they do is they stick to their old concepts, their old ideas, and they'd rather be right in the wrong than be wrong in the right, which means that if we investigate and we admit that we don't know something and that we're open to learning, then we become more right. And in other words, we become more expansive. We open our heart to information rather than block ourselves in and become closed-minded. And again, these times are presenting us with challenging ourselves to better understand right and wrong. Now that depends upon a person's own value system. But as it comes forward in regards to a consciousness, being aware of what's right and what's wrong, right? Not having an opinion about that. So what I'd like to do today is I'd like to journey into how you can become more open to new ideas that may challenge your old beliefs, which is really the concept. So let's go on a journey to see what information comes through, because we're all fixed in some way, in some belief system. whether we're right or we're wrong, we can always use a little push of opening ourselves up to new ideas and new ways of thinking. And that will basically benefit all of us, because then it'll blend the ideas together where we can be more united. And that's the same thing in a family, same thing in a classroom, and same thing in society. Okay, so let's get going on our journey, and let's take a deep breath in. If you haven't done this before, please, you're going to close your eyes. If you can cover your eyes with something, even better. This way you're able to concentrate on the journey. And when we go on a journey, we're going to go through a cave and come out and be in contact with a spirit animal. And when that spirit animal comes forward, we'll ask the question of how to neutralize our own opinions to make ourselves be more aware of things. Okay, take a deep breath in and exhale. Take a deep breath in and exhale. Take one more deep breath in and exhale. Closing your eyes, relaxing, and going on our journey. We're walking on a path. Open field. To the left and right are grass and open fields. To the left and right are mountains. As we walk on this path, we take a deep breath in. And we hear our feet as they walk through the path. Veers to the right. And we continue. The sun shining on our face. And the wind picks up. Walk this path. We see the opening in the mountain at the base. And we follow the path into the dark opening. We use our hands to navigate. Up ahead, we see the light on the other side of the opening. We exit the opening. And we're in a different landscape. Where are you? What does it look like? As you look to the left, you hear a noise behind you. You turn around and you see a spirit animal. What animal do you see? Ask the spirit animal, right. And you listen for the answers. spirit animal for the information that passed on to you. Take one more deep breath in. And you head back for the cave. You find the opening. And you enter the darkness. Using your hands to navigate. Until you see the light from the other side. And as you exit the cave, you follow the path back through the grassy valley. Take a deep breath in. Turns to the left. To the left is a big oak tree. As you leave the valley and you stand in front of it, put your hands around the tree. And you exchange energy with it. It absorbs positive ions and neutralizes your energy. Look up to the tree and thank it as you release your hands. And you walk out of the forest. Take a deep breath in and exhale. Take a deep breath in and exhale. Move your fingers, move your toes, shrug your shoulders. And when you're ready, come back into the room and open your eyes. Okay, so today's shamanic journey, number 75, was to being right, which is basically the fear of being wrong. Right? And during these times, many people are polarized, holding on to specific values and ideas that are keeping people stuck. And the fact of the matter is that nobody needs to prove anybody right or wrong, because within ourselves, we know what our truth is. And there's an inner knowing that exists. And once you've gone down that rabbit hole of looking at things, there's nothing that can make you go back to understanding what you've already learned. And the fact is that when we're learning, we're always in a state of understanding and relearning. And the fact that we are open to not knowing something makes us more open to receiving. So basically, when our heart is in the process of being open, we're able to then take in information and to assimilate that into our lives. And learning requires us to question. It requires us to relearn something that we thought we knew but didn't know. If we hold steady in a certain belief and we remain in denial of new ideas, of opening ourselves up to information, then we become stuck, we become fixed. We start blaming the external world, we start blaming people because we're too afraid to be wrong and we're too afraid to take in new information. And once we've built a story and we create scenarios in our mind that support the story, then we become further fixed in this mindset. And usually, a lot of people are in a state of fear when they take on that type of activity. So there's nothing wrong with being wrong. In fact, being wrong teaches us how to neutralize being right in situations and how to learn and take in new concepts. All right, so I want to thank you today for joining me on this journey, and hopefully you had the opportunity to receive information that was relevant for you. Just wanted to let you know that on my podcast, Adam Gell and Inspiring Minds, I have an interview coming up. I'll be posting that within the next day or two. And hopefully you'll be able to gain insight into your life as you open up to new information. And there's plenty of information out there. Okay, I hope you have a great evening. Thank you for joining me.